Hello, in this video I want to talk about some of the struggles I've been facing when writing a fantasy novel through a journal format. So the first struggle I would want to touch on is intimacy. There's moments in the book that I fear could be too deep or too emotional or too intimate in that way, maybe even to the point where it may cause discomfort, which I hope that's not the case. For example, I would like to explore the idea of how us as people sometimes lie to ourselves about certain, in certain situations that we may find ourselves in. Maybe we make up excuses for ourselves, or maybe we tell ourselves a certain thing to avoid pain or to escape from the reality of the situation. Things of that nature. That's just one example I can think of. To explore that, obviously, we would have him show the lies that he tells himself throughout this private journal as well. So I thought that was interesting and could make for a real intimate connection between the reader and the protagonist, and hopefully relatable in many ways, which kind of touches on almost the same element in the second reason that I'm going to state in this video, which is emotional and vulnerability truths in the story. I'm not going to say that I put exact moments or details from my personal life, but there are definitely parts of me in it. I think every writer puts parts of their own experience or a part of themselves into their work. I would be surprised if there are writers who don't. Even you read a nonfiction book, the writer will a lot of times give an example throughout their personal life or talk about something they've experienced or a struggle they experienced, things of that nature. So I think that is normal, but it is a struggle to touch on certain moments of my life that may have felt emotional at the time, to the point where I feel very vulnerable adding that in the book. But we're still pre-revision, so we'll see what we keep and what we don't. The third challenge I have faced is external conflict versus internal conflict. For some reason, I just had a hard time wrapping my mind around external conflict. And I think it's because of the format I'm writing in, and also I'm used to writing with voice and from first person POV. So with that being said, I believe external conflict was just a natural barrier for me to break through. With it being a private journal, everything's mostly internal. A lot of the struggles were coming off internal in the beginning, but I did learn a lot more throughout this writing process and my journey as in writing this book. But I was able to learn external conflict and what differentiates the two, and I can't believe I had so much trouble with it, to be honest. And like I said, I think it was just the private journal format that made it difficult for me to break away from writing from a point of internal conflict and interior struggle, writing down in the private journal, but showing moments of external conflict and being able to get those scenes to hit, I think was accomplished, at least first draft style anyway. So that wraps up this video. If you'd like to talk about anything you struggled with in your writing, or maybe the format you're choosing, or any type of struggles when it comes to writing your book, I'd love to hear about it as well. I appreciate you watching this video, and as always, I wish you the best, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.